Hello, good morning, happy Winning Wednesday. All right, guys, welcome, welcome. So, today, let me do this. That might be a little bit, maybe that's a little too glowy in the glasses. They do not have, they're blue light blockers, not reflection light blockers. Anyways, so today we're going to talk a little bit about inner knowing and like the noise, I guess. So right now, cosmically, astrologically, we just went through our, full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. So there's this kind of, access of discernment and truth. And so Virgo really is asking us to refine our inner filter, like what's mine and what's somebody else's, like what's the noise, the conditioning, the whatever. Maybe our inner voice isn't actually our inner voice, but it's something that is our mom's voice, our dad's voice, or teacher's voice, peer's voice, like that kind of, you know, was this telling me to play it safe, to be small, to not do a certain thing because it's out of the ordinary from society's stance? Or was this like maybe something that my mom might have been judgmental on, or my brothers or sisters or whatever? Or, uh, am I under the impression that money is not abundant because, like the government would rather us be like these good little worker bees and not question our workspace, or, hunkering down. So like think about that. Like um, this eclipse was basically pulling us out of conformity, like to actually start questioning, uh, is this truly what I want? Um, like I talk a lot about, like, keeping up with the Joneses. Like you see all the things out there you're supposed to have, like go to college, have the nice job, have the nice house, the car, the husband, the kids. And so um, that was my path. That's what I thought was going to make me happy. So, come to find out, like it is not the thing that made me happy. Yes, my family makes me super happy. Having my babies, like I love them so much, and it's like I didn't need all the things, right? Like it's the house and the car and like all that stuff, like it's kind of just for show, right? The um being a lead CT tech in the clinic that I was at, that was so I could look good for others, right? Like it wasn't like I needed to have that. It's like I wanted to feel important, because importance to me equaled, if I'm seen as somebody as important, that equaled respect, it equaled love. So like it's basically I had to perform in a certain way in order to get these things. And then once you get them, then you're like, well, is that all? Right? Like, who cares about all that stuff? Like, now I'm just like, I could be happily, uh, I have my certain things that I like to have every day, like my coffee, my morning coffee, and my couch. I like to have my spot on the couch. I like to have, certain things, but um, at the end of the day, like, I don't need all this stuff. Like I could be happy just traveling around the world, as long as I have my pillow, because it's a very nice pillow. As long as I have my pillow with me and my knee pillow, I'm like golden, right? Like, and my family with me, like I would be happy to bounce around from state to state and just do what I love doing, which is, teaching and breath work and coaching and, all the things. So, like this eclipse pulled us out of that conformity. It's really showing us that, it's not all cracked up to be like all the things that we thought we wanted, like the keeping up with the Joneses, looking up to these people, celebrities and politics and all those things, like, and finding out that, they're not the greatest people. And so, this whole collective conformity, it's being brought back to like, we're not supposed to necessarily look outside of us for happiness, for confidence, for knowing the right path, knowing what we should do. Like, it was always inside. We always had the answers. Like, we valued others ahead of us. So like, this is bringing us all back to personal authority. And so you might be noticing again, like, all the things in the news, people that, we thought that they were these people, and then it turns out they're not those nice people. And, like, maybe other people's advice that might have inspired you now feels really heavy. So this is happening with me personally. Like, when I first started my business, the coaches that I followed, that I had coach me, like business coaching, personal development, like, I am like pushing that away, like literally. Like, it was very like bro marketing, go go go, like you gotta hustle, uh like invite people onto discovery calls and then like turn it around into a sales call. That is not at all what I'm like all about. Like, I want like the divine feminine. That's a big thing, right, that's coming in right now. Like the ease and flow and balance and harmony, like these things that are coming up, like that's more my speed. I was the quiet one. I wasn't the one that was out there like salesperson-y, like, and I mean, nobody likes being salesy, even salespeople, but like uh it took such a drastic turn for me. Like all those people, I was like, I'm rejecting it now. It's just like I'm very heart-centered. I want to have a certain rapport with people before I even invite them into a program with me. So it's done like a 180 for me. So, teachers that you once followed, you may notice like you don't resonate with them anymore. They may sound off key. Even like friends groups, like you might start to distance yourself from certain people that don't exactly align with you anymore, that maybe their opinions land like kind of like a static. I also noticed this with my friends group as well, like people that would complain and gossip and uh, just start drama. Like, I'm not here for that. Right? Like, it was fun maybe when I was like in my 20s, but now it's like, I don't want to talk bad about people. Like, I actually would rather people succeed. I would rather lift them up. So, um, like, all of this stuff, it's just guiding you back to who you were before all the opinions and conformities in society and like learnings that we got when we were young. So, this isn't arrogance. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm holier than thou, higher than those people, but it's actually alignment. It's actually bringing you back to the person that you were beforehand, that you were meant to be. And so this is like energetically, and gosh, energy wise, I've been like up and down. And that's totally normal. Like, just know that that's normal. But like, this is energetically the universe kind of saying like your inner voice is calibrating, and it's calibrated now. Like, you're no longer, you don't need the intermediaries between you and your truth. Like you've always known the truth inside of you. It's just, are you going to start listening to it now? So, um, like there's our intuition, it's always there. Like it's always speaking to us. Sometimes the louder voices like ego and inner child and inner critic, they get louder, and they are the things that we hear the most. But the intuition's always there. It's always, it might have some hard truths. Like it's always acting in your best interest, but it's not always kind. Like it might have some hard truths that, like are you willing to listen or not? But like we know internally, we have that inner knowing of what's right and what's best for us. And like yes, we have like wants and needs, but it's like and sometimes like you have to like push through things, but we know what's best for us, what's right. And sometimes that gets drowned out by everyone else's opinions, or again, like the other voices. But most of us, and again, this is conditioning, this is learning, this is society, like we learn very early on that we're supposed to outsource our knowing, that there's somebody smarter out there that knows better, right? And so we listen to teachers and parents and maybe the president or whoever, and took that as truth. And then eventually, like you just decide that people who were louder, that were have more of a presence, that was more confident or whatever it was, like that they were the ones that knew better than us. And so again, it's not that you're not trusting your intuition, because it is always there. It's just um, you might not be following it, but also your nervous system has something to do with this, and it equates belonging with safety. Like part of our most deepest wiring is to um, not rock the boat, to go with the crowd, to fit in with the tribe. And so as children, we our nervous systems automatically are going to want to belong. They want to, it wants to agree and comply and fit in. So when belonging feels at risk to us, that is a big, like it's like an alarm system going off with our nervous system and our bodies. Like we defer to the person who felt like authority to us, and that conditioning is going to stick. So when you doubt yourself, it's not about logic really. It's basically your alarm system, the amygdala, whispering like, in order to survive, you need to connect, you need to belong, you need to be accepted, and so you need to play it safe. And so as we go into adulthood, we start to disconnect more and more and more from our inner knowing, more from our own authority, um, from ourselves, right? Like, so, again, right now that pattern is unraveling. And so it's not exactly the nicest thing, because we've built our entire system inside and outside, right? Like our nervous system is used to that, so used to it. Our identity is wrapped around it. And so when we start unraveling that and taking things away and, like tell you to trust yourself, like it doesn't feel right, right? Like I've lived 42 years like this, and it's not exactly easy, and it's not exactly uh, nice to our system when we start to dismantle these things, because it feels like ego death. It feels like we're dying in a sense. So, like, as like, I just want to say, like, this pattern is a weakness. Like, it's wiring. Because as a child, we are taking in all information as truth. We don't know any better. Like, we didn't come out all judgy, like, well, it doesn't sound right, right? Like, your survival as a child was literally dependent on other people and the approval of the adults around you. So, like, you can't feed yourself, you can't protect yourself, you can't, regulate without them. And so your nervous system actually it's making a very logical trade in this sense. Like, I will learn what they need from me and I will become that so that they stay close to me, so that they love me. And this is above people pleasing. Like, it's not a people pleasing. This is actually attachment intelligence. So it keeps you safe. And what happens over time is you get really good about reading the room, or anticipating other people's needs, or adjusting yourself just to maintain that connection. And, if you lose, like, by doing that, you lose the thread that takes you back to your own signal. You stop asking, like, what do I want? And more so, like, what do they want? Like, would be will they be sad? Right? Like, will they hate me after this, right? Like, and so would you stop asking, what do I want? Like, because that question, like, at the time, it feels kind of dangerous or selfish or, disruptive or too much, right? Like, we're supposed to think about others above ourselves. We're supposed to think about how others would feel. And then you grow up and the original threat is gone, but the pattern will stay. So, there's honestly, there's 3 layers of outsourced knowing. So, the obvious layer is that external validation. Like, this is the one most people recognize. Asking everyone's opinion before making a decision, or needing somebody to confirm when you already know, before you actually act on it. Like, but you already knew the answer, right? But you want everybody else's opinion before you make a decision. And so, or you might be scrolling for someone else to say the thing that you already know, so you can actually finally believe it. The second layer, and this is actually the probably the sneakiest layer, is spiritual bypassing. So this one is subtle, but it lives in a lot of healing communities. And it sounds like, I need to ask my mentor. Let me see what the cards say. Let me wait for a sign. Or, even let's just think positive. Let's think of the bright side of things, the silver lining. And so all of these things are, like, super beautiful. Like, they're great tools, but when they become a way to avoid trusting yourself, they are more like they're a sophisticated version of the same pattern. And so you're still outsourcing your answer. And then the third layer, which is actually the deepest, is, self-abandonment. And it's disguised as humility. And so this is where it gets really honest. Like, some of us were taught that confidence was being arrogant, and that certainty was being too prideful, or that knowing your own mind was somehow threatening to the people around you. So we learn to shrink our knowing. And we preface it with, I could be wrong, but, like, or maybe this is just me, but, or, like, we just don't say anything, right? Like, we just stay quiet, let someone else lead, even when every cell in your body is, like, pointing to a different direction, and it's like, just say something, right? Like, I don't know how many times, like, inside, I'm like, I need to say something, and then I don't. So this layer is not about confidence. It's actually about permission. You never got permission to trust yourself completely. And so you keep waiting for someone else to grant it. And so what it costs you every time you override your knowing, you send your nervous system a message like, my signal is not reliable. And over time, this message, it sinks in deeper. It calcifies into your identity. And so you stop hearing the signal clearly because you have trained yourself to dismiss it before it can fully form. And that's why, many people, they don't really know what they want. Like, it's not that they actually don't know. It's just that they've spent years interrupting the answer before it could arrive. And so this cost, of course, shows up as like chronic indecision, like resentment towards people whose opinions you asked for and then followed against your gut. And it turned out to like go the wrong way. Or like a persistent low grade feeling of feeling misaligned. Like you're living someone else's version of life, not your own. And then anxiety. Anxiety spikes when you are about to make a decision because your system no longer trusts its own compass. So the piece that most people miss is like you cannot hear your intuition from that dysregulated nervous system state. When your amygdala is running the show, the signal from your gut and heart gets drowned out by threat scanning. Like intuition is a parasympathetic experience. This is, it lives in the calm, the quiet, the regulated state. Like this is why, meditation is so great. Like just sitting in silence and actually being regulated and sitting in silence, because otherwise your brain is like, what do I do? Like I'm doing it wrong, or like what's for dinner and whatever. Like, but fight and flight is too loud for your intuition to come out. And that's why breath work is not just healing words, it's discernment work. Every time you regulate your nervous system, you turn down the volume of those other voices on the fear and the ego. And you turn up the volume on your knowing and your intuition. So it's directly connected. It's related. Regulation is how you get your signal back. So again, we're in a period of profound recalibration from personal authority. The eclipses just moved through, particularly the full moon lunar eclipse. We're specifically designed to expose what we've been giving our power of discernment away. And so as Virgo ruling the nervous system, because of course, right? Like the gut and the refinement signal from the noise, like the eclipse is asking the very specific question of every person it touched. Whose voice have you been living in by? Whose voice are you listening to? Is it actually yours? So the energy moving forward, the rest of March into spring, is about reclaiming yourself. Reclaiming your own authority. It's not loudly, it's not rebelliously, but quietly, firmly, with the kind of like I actually just in my other group, the Conscious Collective, I posted Carrie Kay. She's talking a lot about this. Like it's not like all of a sudden we're like flipping the switch from here to there. Like we have very, very quiet little tiny moments that are starting to line up, and we're seeing things a little bit differently. And it's not just like you're all of a sudden going to like change your identity in one day, but like softly, step by step, little by little. And that's the calm certainty that doesn't need anyone else's agreement to stand. So you're the fire horse. We know it's like bold and sovereign and self-directed. And, this is, again, it's like a cosmic invitation. It's not to become arrogant, right? But to not outsource your knowing, your energy, all that stuff. Like be the person whose opinion of your life, the one person whose opinion of your life you cannot afford to ignore, because nobody else can tell you how to live your life. Like that's up to you, right? So to start coming back to yourself, just notice the gap, right? Like before you ask anyone else, take a second, pause, ask yourself first. Like even if the answer feels uncertain or small, just give it 30 seconds of breath and silence before you reach out to someone else. Like do some breath, sit in silence for a second, or even just like not immediately go ask someone else. Number 2 is track your body, not your thoughts. Your knowing does not live in your head. It lives in your chest, your gut, your throat. Like, tightness means no. Expansion means yes. That's the simplest way to put it. Neutrality means just give it a second. Give it wait a second. Your body's been voting this whole time. You haven't been paying attention to the ballots. Number 3 is stop explaining your knowing. No is a complete answer. You don't owe anybody an explanation or a logical defense of your intuition. The I just know is a complete sentence. Women are freaking fantastic at intuition. We just don't listen or follow it, right? So practice saying it without, apology. Number 4 is regulate first and decide second. So before any significant decision, breathe. Just slow your exhales down. Get your prefrontal cortex back online. We talked a lot about this in the breath codes. Ask the question after that. The answer that comes from a regulated nervous system is almost always the most true one. And then number 5, give yourself permission that you've been waiting for. Nobody's coming to officially authorize your inner knowing. The ceremony only happens within you, and it happens the moment you decide, quietly, firmly, without, the fanfare, right? Like, that's your signal that is worth listening to. So your intuition, it wasn't ever broken. It was just waiting for you to stop talking over it. So I hope this was it resonated with a lot of you. I actually got an email a couple days ago, right after the email went out on Monday, that she was like, "Oh my gosh, yes! Like, how did you know that this was going on? I got this message at the exact right moment." Well, guess what? A lot of the times I'm going through this stuff too, and so when I'm going through things, my clients are going through things, that's typically the messages that I'm giving to y'all, because it's a thing. Everybody's kind of going through it at the same time. So yeah, that's about it for today. I just want to remind you guys that the breath codes replays are only available for another week and a half. And as far as the Healing Day event, that's only going to be available until Sunday at the end of this week. So get on it. If you have any questions, get at me, and you know how to reach me. That being said, I love you all. I hope you have an amazing week. Bye now, and we will see you on the next Wednesday call.